In this video, we will be discussing the morphology of Periplaneta Americana. Periplaneta Americana is also called the American cockroach, and it belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. And just like the other organisms in this phylum, cockroach also has a few distinguishable characteristics, such as presence of body divisions, which means that the body is divided into different parts. And those parts in case of cockroach are, first one is head, as can be seen over here. The second part is thorax, which can be seen here. And the third part or third division is the abdomen, which begins from here and ends here. Alright. Now these three divisions of the body, they are made up of tiny chitinous plates. And these tiny chitinous plates, they are called sclerites. And they are made up of chitin. What is chitin? Chitin is a homopolymer, and it is a very hard structure. So whenever you step on a cockroach, that crunchy feeling or that crunchy noise that you hear, that is because of the chitin which is present in the exoskeleton. Now these sclerites, they are named according to their positions. The sclerite on the dorsal side is called tergum or notum. The sclerite on the lateral sides are called pleura or singular pleuron, whereas the sclerite on the ventral side is called sternum. When we say that the cockroaches will survive the nuclear attack, we say so because they have chitin in their exoskeleton. Alright. Another feature of Arthropoda is the presence of paired and jointed appendages. And because of the presence of jointed appendages, this phylum is named such. Arthro means joint, poda means feet or appendages. Now these paired and jointed appendages, they will be present on the head, on the thorax, or in the abdomen. So as we are going to proceed with the video, we are going to study the different appendages and different structures that can be seen when we are observing the cockroach. Let us now continue with the video. First, we will have a look at the head of the cockroach, and we'll see the frontal view of the head. This is the frontal view. And in the frontal view, we can observe the shape of the head, and the shape of the head is, it is roughly triangular, and at the tip of the triangle, mouth is present. Okay, so the mouth can be said that it is directed towards the ventral side. So such kind of mouths are called hypognathous mouths. Hypognathous, because they are directed towards the ventral side or towards the ground. The next two prominent structures that can be seen on the head are the antennae. These filamentous structures that can be seen emerging out, these two. These are the antennae. And the function of the antennae is to smell, which means olfaction, and to touch. So they have tactile and olfactory receptors in them, on them. The next two structures that can be seen are these two white spots. These two white spots are the ocelli, and ocelli have photoreceptors in them. And these photoreceptors are going to help the cockroach to gauge the amount of light that is present in the environment. And just next to the ocelli, you can see these two black spots. These two black spots are the eyes. And what kind of eyes are present in the cockroach? Compound eyes. And what is the function of the eyes? The eyes are going to help the cockroach to visualize the environment. Now, at the tip of the mouth, we can see 4 protuberances, 2 longer ones and 2 shorter ones. The 2 longer protrusions, they are called palps, specifically maxillary palps, because they are emerging or are a part of the maxilla. This one is also maxillary palp. And these 2 smaller ones, which are present towards the mouth, they are called the labial palps. And the function of the labial palps is to taste, which means they have gustatory receptors in them. So they will help to taste the food that the cockroach is ingesting. This was all about the head of the cockroach in the frontal view, and as we can make out that all the structures or all the appendages that are present here, they have a sensory function. Okay, so the cockroach will get to know or will get familiar with its environment with the help of the structures that are present on the head. The next view of the cockroach that we'll see is the posterior view or the back view. In the back view, we can clearly make out the 2 types of palps, which were the maxillary palps and the labial palps. Another structure, a cylindrical structure that can be seen is this one, and it is the neck of the cockroach. And this neck of the cockroach has the same function that it has in us, which means the neck will be used to move the head around. This also means that the neck is flexible and it needs to be protected. So for its protection, a sclerite is present on the dorsal side, and this sclerite is called pronotum or protergum. Because it is present on the dorsal side, it is called notum or tergum. Another thing I want you to observe here is this shiny part. This is a part of the leg, and the legs are present in the thorax. We'll discuss them when we talk about the thorax. So this was the posterior view of the head. Now let us shift the position of the cockroach to the lateral side and observe the head from the lateral side. In the lateral side, it is easy to make out that the head, this is the head, it is at an angle of 90 degrees to the body. This is the body of the cockroach, this is the head. And the head almost makes a 90-degree angle to the body. Other structures that can be seen from the lateral sides are the antennae, the maxillary palps and the labial palps. And this huge black structure, this is the eye. So the eye is laterally positioned on the head of the cockroach. This is the pronotum or protergum we were talking about when we said that the sclerite, which is going to protect the neck from damage. This was all about the head. This whole structure constitutes the thorax and the abdomen, and these are the legs. So let us now move to the second division of the body, which is the thorax. First we'll have a look at the ventral side of the thorax, and thorax is further divided into three segments, and those three segments are prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. Prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. All these three will constitute the thorax. On the thorax, two different types of appendages are present. The first one are the legs, which you can see I am holding in between my fingers, and the second one are the wings. Let us now first talk about the legs. So there are three pairs of legs present. The first pair, because it is present on the prothorax, is called proleg or prothoracic leg. So this one which I am holding is the proleg. The second leg is positioned on the mesothorax, so it is called mesoleg. This one and this one. And the third leg is positioned on the metathorax, so is called metaleg or metathoracic leg. Now we say that the appendages in arthropoda, or in this case as we're talking about the cockroach, they are jointed. So we mean that the appendage is not present as a single piece. There are joints present which will help in better movement. Just imagine that your hands or your legs or your spine did not have any joint. Would you be able to move as quickly as you do now? Obviously not. So we have seen how cockroaches run, and they run pretty fast. So how do they run that pretty fast? Because they have these joints in their legs. Alright. Now because of these joints, the leg appears segmented. These segments in the legs are called podomeres. Let us see which podomeres are present in the cockroach's legs. The first podomere that is present was that fleshy, shiny podomere that I had shown here. This one. This is the first podomere. And this podomere is called coxa. This one. Just after the coxa, a tiny podomere is present which looks like a knee and helps to bend the leg. This one is called trochanter. After the trochanter, a stout podomere is present which is named as femur. After the femur, a long, thin podomere is present which is called the tibia. And beyond the tibia, I want you to have a look here. The last podomere is present which is called tarsus. And in the tarsus, if you observe closely, further segments are present, or further joints are present. These joints divide the tarsus into tarsomeres. So these segments are collectively called tarsomeres, and they are going to help the cockroach to grab onto things, as we'll see in the next part. Here I'm showing you the last tarsomere with this structure, and this structure is called a claw, and the claw is going to help the cockroach to hold on to things or grab onto things while it's walking or running. Another thing that we can see are these bristles, and these bristles also help the cockroach to sense the environment. How? They have tactile receptors, so they also help to sense the environment with the help of tactile receptors. This was about the legs of the cockroach, and this was about we saw the legs from the ventral side. Now let us shift the cockroach to the lateral side and observe the thorax from the lateral side. In the lateral side, we can see the legs, and we can make out that the length of the legs is different. The first leg is shortest, the second leg or the meso leg is a little bit longer, whereas the third leg is the longest. And what else can we see? We can see the next division of the body, the abdomen, the pronotum, and the antenna. Okay, so this was the thorax from the lateral side. Let us now shift, there goes another leg. Let us now shift the cockroach to the dorsal side, and in the dorsal view we can make out a tiny head which is protected partially by a large sclerite. This sclerite called pronotum or protergum. It was called, or it has notum or tergum in its name because it is present on the dorsal side, and it has pro in its name because it is present on the prothorax. Okay, the other things that we can see are the wings. Now let us have a look at the wings. There are two kinds of wings present in the cockroach. There were 3 pairs of legs, but there are only 2 pairs of wings. And these 2 pairs of wings, they are present on the second and the third thoracic segments, which were the mesothorax and the metathorax. So if these are the 3 segments of the thorax, there will be legs on the first, second, and third segment, but the wings will be present only in the second and the third segment. Now we do know the names of these segments: prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. So we'll name the wings accordingly. The wing on the mesothorax will be called mesothoracic wings, whereas the wings on the metathorax will be called metathoracic wings. And if we can observe, we can clearly see that both these wings are a bit different from each other. The mesothoracic wings appear opaque, okay, whereas the metathoracic wings, you can see the background here. So that means that the metathoracic wings are transparent or translucent. Another difference that can be made out when we touch the wings is that the mesothoracic wings, they are hard and leathery to touch, whereas the metathoracic wings, they are soft and delicate to touch. Now, why are these mesothoracic wings hard and leathery to touch? Because they have more amount of chitin present in them. And because of this, the mesothoracic wings, they are also called tegmina. Okay? And because they have more amount of chitin present in them, this extra amount of chitin on the mesothoracic wings is going to help protect the metathoracic wings. So when the cockroach is not flying, the mesothoracic wings will overlap the metathoracic wings and they will protect the metathoracic wings. And out of the pair of the 2 wings, the metathoracic wings, they are used for flying. Okay. Another observation I want you to make here is the length of the wing when the cockroach is not flying or when the cockroach is in resting position. The dotted line represents the abdomen, whereas the hard line represents the wing. So it can be clearly made out that the wing length is greater than the length of the abdomen. Now, to visualize the next division of the body, which is the abdomen, we can either cut off the wings or we can pin the wings onto the board. As I'm pinning the wings to the board, we can see faint lines across the body of the cockroach on the dorsal side. These lines represent the plates or the sclerites that we had talked about, and the sclerites on the dorsal side are called tergum, and these sclerites are going to protect the body of the cockroach. Now, how many segments are present in the abdomen? Just like the thorax was divided into 3 segments, the abdomen is divided into 10 segments. And when we talk about the abdomen of a cockroach, we can compare the abdomen of a male cockroach to the abdomen of a female cockroach. The abdomen of the male cockroach is narrow and pointed. This tip is pointed, whereas the abdomen in the females is wider and it is blunt at the tip. So this is the first difference. The second difference is in the presence of appendages. The abdomen of the male has 2 pairs of appendages, one segmented and one unsegmented, whereas the abdomen of the female cockroach has only 1 pair of appendages, which is segmented. This segmented pair of appendages is called anal cerci, and anal cerci are present in both the male cockroach and the female cockroach. This unsegmented appendage is called anal style, and anal style is absent in the female cockroach, therefore female cockroach do not have any style. Another difference that can be used to differentiate between male and female cockroach is the length of the wing when the cockroach is resting. If the length of the wing exceeds the length of the abdomen, that means that particular cockroach is a male cockroach. But if the length of the wing is approximately same or shorter than the length of the abdomen, then we can say that that particular cockroach is a female cockroach. Alright, so these were the differences between the male and female cockroach, and these were the different appendages that are present in the male and female cockroach. So here we finish the morphology of cockroach, and I have something for you to find out at the end of the video. First one is you need to find out and comment what kind of cockroach, whether it is a female or a male cockroach. Let me know in the comments, and from which joint this podomere fell off, or which podomere did this leg fall off, and which leg is it? Pro leg or meso leg or meta leg? So this was the morphology of cockroach, and I hope this video gives a clear explanation of the cockroach, and you can better visualize how the cockroach looks like.